Is that Super Quantums bringing up the rear? Make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So we're going to be looking at the Farfa breakdown for their Genesys event. And this was 1 out of 1 format, which means it kind of invalidates the side deck a little bit, which a lot of people in the more competitive events have to allocate points into the side deck. So, I mean, you do get to see some interesting takeaways from this event, but I do think that that is something to consider when looking at, these results. We did have 2 rank 3 turbos. I'm going to list them as Goblin Bikers out of this top cut. Honestly, seeing Goblin Bikers be this rank 3 turbo good stuff pile has not been surprising, to say the least. We did have Radiant Typhoon continuing on with one version of it in Top Cut, but it was also a supplemental package across the board in a lot of these lists, which is not surprising to see. We did have Draco Tail, which I think was the most shocking deck to me to see. Sparky is one of the better players I see out of these events, and the fact that he kind of changed my opinion on Draco Tail in this format based on its limitations and things was very, very, very impactful. We also had Odon Matt. We still continue to see the rank 4 turbo good stuff, still continuing to be one of these powerhouse decks within the format. We also had Odon. Yes, Odon kind of got bullied during the last Forbidden and Limited list, but I mean, it's fine. It's still here. We also had the loss of Generaider, losing VFD, but the deck has just greatly evolved and is able to play the game. And then we had this Super Quantum deck. I can't really say come out of nowhere, but, Great Magnus is a huge, crazy boss monster. And the fact somebody was able to make that work is really, really cool. Let's pass on over to those deck lists. So winning our event here is actually Sparky playing by far, I think, one of the most interesting variants that I have seen so far, and it's got to be with the Draco Tail good stuff. No, I mean, this is just with a single Ketu Draco Tail and only 1 Arth Lion, which just means that, you're going to have to put back your resources and you're going to have to kind of loop around and generate, some advantage in another way. Now, this build is also playing Alistair the Invoker as well, which means we got Makaba access, which is going to be very, very good. Supplementing a package within a package, I think, is really, really good because, you basically get to see how we can substitute the lines and be able to have things work out. I mean, yeah, you don't have the link plays in this format, but I think that's fine. I just didn't expect somebody to walk in here with Draco Tail and actually try to change the community's opinion on the deck and the format. Good stuff. Next up, on a mat, basically, we're playing a bunch of good old hand traps. And, I mean, that's all you got to do, right? This list is also playing a crap ton of the Radiant Typhoon good stuff, which, once again, Konami has stated that these cards were not a problem for whatever reason. I guess just searching for MST or, trading off, getting cards out of your hand. It's an interesting takeaway, I suppose. Basically, you're not really ending on the most broken end board of things. But I mean, with the Exceed good stuff that you've got, I mean, you just kind of set up some good generic negates, you put your future Draco up, and that's just kind of all you write for this deck. It's kind of a shame, actually, but I do think that this deck is one of the better options that you can kind of pick up and do decently well with, and having the Radiant Typhoon stuff in the deck definitely helps. Next up, oh boy, Radiant Typhoon. Hey, look at that, triple Mirage and Nightmare. You only chose to play a single Runic Fountain in this list. Well, that's completely off the wall different than what I was really expecting. Because when I look at these lists, it's like you want to play the double fountain because you want to be able to draw into it. But I guess realistically, the Mirage and Nightmare could cost you something. But it's not like the Radiant Typhoon cards just don't allow you to interact with your Mirage and Nightmare popping it. And you just basically dug into free cards. Like, realistically, Mirage and Nightmare shouldn't be at the current pointing that it is, which is 0. But Konami said, hey, we want you guys to actually test this card out. We want to see if it's actually, you know, truly broken or not to bring it back. So it does kind of feel like a testing ground a little bit. We also have Odon. Oh boy. So Odon really had to spend those hand trap points, but also we had to put some points into Pot of Extra because, you know, we need draw power in this deck. Unfortunately, being a trap deck, you're going to have to make some concessions for that ability to dig further into the deck. I do see we are playing 2 Torrential Tributes in here, which is fine. You've also got the triple needle blowout ceiling, which is going to be pretty strong. Your extra deck is just, obviously, it's the Odon good stuff. You know, all you've got to do is get access to the Apophis card, and you're basically set up and ready to go. The fact that this deck, you know, can't really afford to play evenlies anymore to go second just means that you're going to have to adapt in hand traps as kind of your counterbalancing aspect of things. But I think it does work out relatively well. You know, deck looks pretty solid, honestly. Next up here, we have Generaiders. What in the world? We're playing Necros cards in here? We're also playing the Cyber Sage? We're playing a World Chalice in here? So we can make Ib and go with Cloud Castle? Okay. I see you. So we just decided to build in the Necros stuff into this list, which might just be one of the most innovative things that I've seen in a hot second. This list also decided to play double Called by the Grave for its point evaluation, which is interesting. But, you know, your main takeaway here is we're just going to use Inner Blafnir, and we're going to start blasting. All right? Like, that's the whole point of Blafnir. And, yeah, I know, fun degeneracy and things like that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, this is probably one of the most creative Genesis lists that we have seen in a hot second. So I do kind of like that. Also, Titina Cider down on the side deck's kind of cool. So this is our little pile of Goblin good stuff that we got going for us, aka the rank 3 turbo, I guess. The fact that I see all the Goblin Biker stuff, the Radiant Typhoon stuff in here, the fact that you're basically acting on a rank 3 access is decently well. This has become, I guess, more of the norm at this point. Being able just to use Goblin Biker good stuff to kind of turbo set up is usually pretty good. So I guess this does correct one of our Radiant Typhoon list to rank 3 turbo effectively. It's just the sort of strategy that you're gonna continue to kind of see out here, as long as, you know, these builds basically are able to develop and use the rank 3 stuff to really help out. And then we've got more goblins, but this one is actually using the Minkanko stuff, which I actually kind of like. So this just ends up being rank 3 turbo with more extra side options along the way. You know, I appreciate the fact that this is how players have been kind of challenging up the meta here and making things look a little bit more fun. But, you know, hey, if you really want to play some Goblin Bikers in this format, it really appears to be a successful choice. And honestly, not a scary one at that. You just pick your good level 3 monsters that you want to throw at the wall, and you will probably have some sort of success with it. It's the reality of how things are right now within the meta. So cool. And then we have Super Quantums. Gonna get to the Megazord. 49 cards in this. That is a lot. But I mean, your whole point is we're going to try to get to Great Magnus and floodgate the opponent out of the game. I mean, this deck did very well for a 160 card or 160 man event. Like, that's the thing you gotta think of. You know, you're gonna implement your hand traps in here. I also see that, you know, we have Avas in here so that you can fuel all of these heralds. The fact we have Lancia's heralds of green and orange in here just proves that, you know, they had the pieces that they needed and it worked out very, very nicely. So what do you guys think about the breakdown for this event? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.